Chapter 1 Twisted Sands in a Broken Hourglass. Chloe! Max! Chloe! Max! Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey! Max and Chloe woke up little by little with the call of a rather familiar voice. While they were opening their eyes, they saw the ceiling, and after a few seconds they recognized it, and they both jumped up, sitting on the bed and banging their heads against each other. "Ouch!" they shouted in unison.
"Fuck, Chloe, what a tough head."
"Huh! Look who's talking, you limp muffin!" They looked around and saw that they were at the Price house, in Chloe's room, and when they finally looked to each other, they gasped in fright and were petrified with astonishment.
Max! Chloe!
They couldn't believe their own eyes.
"Max, what the fuck?"
"Chloe, I see, and for this there is only one explanation." "And that will be?" "Well, it's obvious, isn't it? We went back." No, break a moment, please. Went back? But did you see me, right? Did you see yourself? We went too much back, Max. How is it possible that... In that moment, "Chloe! Max! The breakfast is getting cold!" "We're coming, Mom!" Max was a little thoughtful, then said, "Chloe, let's go downstairs. We'll talk about it after breakfast, but listen carefully. I can't explain it now, but please indulge me in everything I do, okay?" "What?" "Let's not waste time. Come on." "Okay, Max. I trust you. You'll understand too. You'll see." So they ran downstairs and went into the dining room, where Joyce was finishing preparing breakfast for her and her beloved husband William. When Chloe saw him, she suddenly stopped, and Max was surprised too. Max, after a few seconds, recovered from the surprise, but saw that Chloe was staring at him, unable to say a single word. "Chloe," William said, looking at her, "what's up, my darling? Are you okay? It almost looks like you've seen a ghost." Max thought quickly and intervenes. No, it's that we didn't go to the bathroom before coming downstairs, and then she was left in doubt if we went there or not. You know, we just woke up." "We're right back." Max pulled Chloe with her, who almost stumbled in the table, risking to hurt her own shin bone, and they ran back up the stairs and into the bathroom.
"Max, Dad is here, and he's alive. It's a dream, right? Fuck, I can't believe it. What's going on?"
Big tears of joy and dismay filled Chloe's eyes, who hadn't realized the situation yet. "No, it's not a dream. Listen to me carefully. We must act absolutely quickly, before the irreparable happens."
"What do you mean? What have you done?"
"I haven't done nothing, but you still haven't understood what day is today, do you?" Chloe looked at her friend with a questioning, thoughtful and perplexed look. Then, after a few seconds, her eyes widened as she remembered.
"Holy shit! But today is the day when Dad..."
"Shh!" Max said, putting a finger on her mouth. "Don't say it. Anyway, yes, you understood. We absolutely have to make sure that your father doesn't pick up your mother at the supermarket, because if he does..." Chloe sighed. "I understand, Max, but how can we do?" Max looked at her, smiling. "Don't worry, I had an idea." She gets close to her ear and explained her plan. Then they went downstairs to have breakfast. "Dad, do you work today?" "No. Why?" "Max and I had thought about going to the mountain that is on the other side of Arcadia Bay Lighthouse. There is a beautiful view, but we can't go there alone, right? Well, it would be better for a brave knight like me to accompany you to little grasshopper princesses. It was just what we hoped for, Max and Claude said unison. Okay, little ladies, said Joyce. Go and have this nice hike. I will tell you that a nice picnic will be ideal once you get up there. The two girls looked at each other and shouted, "Yay!" Joyce smiled and told them, "Well, there is half roast with vegetables that I kept in the fridge and some fruits. You can take as well." "My love, you really had a nice thought, you know." "Well, I took from you, my hubby." She walked over to him and kissed him. "Okay, now I'm going to work. Make sure to tidy up before going out, okay?" "Okay, Joyce. Don't worry. Have a good day." "Thanks, Max." So Joyce took her bag, jacket, and went out to catch the bus, which was not far from home. Meanwhile, Max had finished eating and looking around nervously. William as well finished and was putting the dirty dishes in the sink. Chloe, seeing what Max was doing, asked her, "What are you looking for?" And Max, answering with signs and whispering, said, "Your father's cell phone." Chloe couldn't understand why, so she finished eating, walked away from the kitchen, and then she asked her friend what was going on. "If your father has his cell phone with him, your mother could call him to come and get her, and we don't want that to happen, do we?" "Of course not." "Well, then now, we have to make sure that he doesn't have it with him, or at least that he's not reachable." "Okay, Max." So Chloe went near her father, who had the phone in his shirt pocket, and... Booyah! William winched in fright. While winching, the phone slipped out of his shirt pocket and ended up in the sink, which was full of soapy water. "Honey, don't play these tricks on me." Splash! "Oh no, the cell phone." "Shit, Daddy, sorry." William turned to Chloe a little annoyed, then smiled and said, "It's okay, honey. I normally put it in my pants pocket, but sitting it bothers me, and I forgot to change place. But you'll have to give me $1 for the swear jar." "Okay, Dad." Chloe stepped away from her father and gestured with her thumb up, as if to say, "Mission accomplished." Max smiled, but now it was her turn. She went near the home phone socket and disconnected, so there would be no eventual call. Then she called Chloe. "Tell me, do you remember that I told you when I came back in time with Warren's picture, avoiding to get you killed by Jefferson when he set the trap for us in the junkyard?" "Yes, I think so. That you changed the timeline, and instead of being Dad who was involved in the accident, it was me who did it, and I was totally paralyzed, right?" "Exactly. So, for your birthday, instead of the car, you will ask to go on a mega vacation all together, mine and your family." Chloe smiled and said, "Yes, I will say it's a good idea." "What are you two little pirates confabulating, huh?" "Nothing, Dad. We were just thinking about where to position ourselves when we get to the top of the mountain." "Oh, well, we will decide when we'll get there, right?" William said, smiling at her daughter. Chloe, who still found it hard to believe that her dad was there with her again, couldn't resist anymore and hugged him. "I love you, Dad." "Me too, darling. Very much. And Max too." he said, raising his arm toward her, and Max approached, making herself embrace her too, with a calm in her heart that she had not felt for a long time, happy to know that Chloe wouldn't have to endure that unforgettable pain. William's hug was concrete proof that what they were doing was right. If everything went as planned, there shouldn't have been any problems. Come on, girls, go get ready, we are going. I end up here in the kitchen, and then off the mountain. Yay! Shouted in unison Max and Chloe, who immediately ran up the stairs and went to wash and dress. After a while, they got back into the kitchen and found William making pancakes.
Oh, that is doing his own specialty.
Yeah, he said as he turned the pancakes over to cook them better. Mom will be a little annoyed to know that I prefer yours to hers. Nah, I don't think so. Besides, if she knew how I do them, she would certainly hire me in the 2 wheels, don't you think? And all three burst out laughing. In the meantime, William took the Polaroid that was on the kitchen cabinet and told to the girls to pose, and so they did. Click! And the photo came out nice and ready from the camera. Oh, I hope the flash didn't scare you, Max. This is a keep. Chloe interjected and said, Wait to say that you know that this needed my approval. She looked at it and then said, Yes, this is beautiful. Then Max, taking the camera, said, Now I'll take a nice photo of you. And so she took a beautiful photo of father and daughter, who complimented her. Max will one day become a famous photographer, you know, Dad? Oh, I'm more than sure, Chloe. Then we'll go to her to do the photo books and we won't pay a cent. Wowzer, Chloe. I haven't even started yet and you already want to break me down. Beautiful friend you are. Oh, Max, you always had a great sense of humor, William said, laughing heartily. Well, now that everything is ready, we can go. So, after putting the pancakes and everything in their picnic basket, the three left the house and with William's car went to Arcadia Bay Lighthouse and parked. When they stepped out of the car, looking toward the sea, an icy shiver ran down their backs, their minds returning to what it seems to be their end just a little time ago. Okay, girls, ready? Let's go, William said, who had already started walking. Yes, we will arrive immediately, said Chloe, who recovered from her dismay turned to Max, but that made her turn pale more than before.
Max! Max! Holy fuck! Your nose! It's bleeding!
Max fell faint in her legs.
Chloe!
Her head was dizzying, and immediately afterward she collapsed lifeless. Chloe was terrified and didn't know what to do. She thought quickly and taking Max by the arms, carried her behind the car so that William couldn't see.
Max! Max! Please wake up! Please! What's the matter? Oh my god! You can't do this to me now!
Chloe whispered to her, being scared. But at that moment, Max wasn't there. The girl reopened her eyes, finding herself in the deepest darkness. She got up feeling an incredible chill, looking around bewildered and confused.
Where am I?
Where are you? You know where you are.
A deep and unknown voice answered her question.
Who are you?
Max asked, a bit intimidated.
I could have been, I could be, and I possibly will be.
What? What do you mean? Show yourself.
Oh, but I'm right here in front of you, around you.
I don't understand. How can you be around me if I don't see you?
I am this darkness. What you think you can't see, but that you see exactly for what it is.
Max was more and more terrified, unable to understand.
What do you want from me?
The girl asked in a faint voice.
What do I want from you? Good question. But you should not ask this question to me. You should ask it to yourself. What is it you want?
I can't understand. Why are you saying this?
Very simple. Do you know what you're doing, aren't you? You know that you're possibly doing a mistake, don't you?
Max was silent for a moment and then replied.
You mean the prevention of events that can happen?
Exactly. Did you know that overturning the order of time in events could have catastrophic consequences? Not so much for others, but more for yourself. Did you know you could dissolve yourself into nothing if you come up with temporal paradoxes?
That's not...
Max couldn't answer. She lowered her head, submissively speechless. She knew that the voice was right. She knew that the events should have changed, and she felt totally responsible for it.
Do you see? You are admitting it too. What do you think you can do? What profit do you think to earn by changing the things that have already been written and preordained? Huh? You don't deserve the role that you have now. You own a power that doesn't belong to you, and made abuse of this power without the slightest responsibility. And now everything you got, and that you will get, if you keep up like this, will be total destruction. And I will be waiting for you in this limbo, where you will feel unspeakable pain for what you've done.
Max could not blame the voice. In her heart she knew that unfortunately fate would prevail sooner or later. It was only a matter of time. She fell to her knees and cried.
It's true. What you say is true. But I didn't ask for this power. How should have I known?
Oh, how could she have known? Poor thing,
said the voice with an ironic and mocking tone.
Yes, sister, you should have known. But it was easier to ignore it, right?
At that point, Max was really desperate. But that desperation suddenly and without realizing it changed into a rage. A rage so strong and visceral that she had never felt before, and that has totally took possession of her.
Stop it! Stop torturing me like that! It's already enough all the evil that has been done to me! Why now you make heavier my pain even more? Do you believe I don't know what I've done? Do you think that I didn't want that all this would have ever happened? But I can't do anything, okay? Despite this power, I am just a human being, and for what I am, I think and make choices. I know very well that they will have consequences, but I know that if those choices will save lives, and especially lives of people I love like Chloe, William, Joyce, and many others, I'm ready to pay the price, and surely will be not you that need to remind me that.
Oh, looky, are we upset as spaghetti, huh? This rage of yours confirms my hypothesis. You are just
Eusebius! Enough!
Max heard another voice, but this one was more serene, clearer and reassuring, but determined, imperative, and immediately after, a flash of light flooded the surrounding darkness that for half get overwhelmed.
Ha! Spell. I knew that sooner or later you would have come to help this little trouble-making creature.
Silence! Did I make myself clear? You have no idea of what she has been through. You should try to put yourself in her shoes to understand it. But you are too superb to do it. And if you really want to know it, it was me giving her that power.
What? How did you dare? You have no idea what she has done. Look what she did.
So? What are you expecting? She is a human being. All human beings make mistakes and many would like to fix their own, but they can't.
Oh, let's hear then. For what possible reason does she have the opportunity to redeem for those mistakes?
Because her heart is pure, as well as her friend, and the love that they feel each other was already destined since a long time. They were just unaware of it.
Ha! Love! Ha! What kind of nonsense are you babbling about?
You are wrong. It's thanks to love that the human being survives. It's thanks to love that the human being determines his soul and is able to do the most incredible and unthinkable things, that you believe it or not. Now be gone and leave her alone. Look how you reduced her. You have no idea how much fragile like glass is her soul. And even so, she has to hold her own against you, which is very incomparable. Nevertheless, you were trying to drive her mad with your words.
All right then. I will leave, but I will keep an eye on her. And if I don't like her actions, then I will intervene.
Not if I will be by your side. Now be gone. You have already done too much damage.
At these words, what remained of the darkness dissolved, leaving only the light around Max.
Don't worry, little Max. You are safe now. Enough crying.
Max, who until then has remained speechless with the tears that were still running down her cheeks, finally stood up. She was almost wiping away her tears when she felt a sweet and gentle touch doing it for her, making her flinch.
Don't be afraid. I will not harm you. I know the pain you feel. I can feel it as well, and I share it with you. But know this, I will always be by your side, and I will do everything in my power to protect you.
Can you tell me one thing? Max said, sniffing up her nose.
Of course.
Why me?
Because it was a role that you had from your birth, and that will not be changed. As I said to Posebius, you and Chloe are pure of heart.
Yes, but why?
There is no answer to your question. You must only know that it's like this, and you are doing everything you can to make the right choices. I can feel it in your heart and your soul, and best choice could have not been made. I'm sure that you'll do your best.
Thanks.
You don't have to thank me, but yourself and the way you are. Do not listen to Posebius. He doesn't know nothing. He is just an arrogant and preposterous guy. It's not the first time he does this. Always jumps to conclusions and never stops thinking.
What?
Never mind that. But now you must go. You've been here for too long, and you have a great responsibility on your shoulders.
Wait, but I can't.
There's no time, Max. Now wake up.
And while she was saying these words, the light became stronger and stronger until it completely blinded her.
Will we see each other again?
Who knows? And almost completely blinded, she felt as if someone has delicately caressed her on the cheek. Then, silence.
Max! Max!
In that moment, Max regained consciousness, finding herself sitting on the lawn and leaning with her back against the front of the car while Chloe was trying to wake her up.
Chloe. Max, holy fuck! You scared the shit out of me, for fuck's sake! Chloe, sorry. It happened all of a sudden. It doesn't matter. It was for a few seconds, but it seems like forever. A few seconds, you said? Yes, if it had been more than that, and Dad would have seen you in that state, I really didn't know what the fuck to invent.
Max got up, helped by Chloe, who had promptly wiped the blood from her nose. Girls, what are you doing there? Come on! William shouted a few meters away from them.
Here we are,
the two girls said in unison, and all three set off towards the mountain. The climb was not difficult at all, but they climbed without haste. Chloe on the lead, Max immediately after, and William at the end because he had to keep an eye on them, although the rocks were protruding enough to climb onto. Arrived all three at the top, they turned to look at the view, which was really beautiful, and the lighthouse on the cape made it even more spectacular, with the sun illuminating the sea that was crossed by 2 or 3 sailing boats, and there was that slight sea breeze that made the nostril fizzle. But most of all, the surrounding silence accompanied by the chirping of birds that lived on the only oak that grew there, and some squirrels roaming around in search of food. The girls gasped, "Wowzer! This is really wonderful!"
It's true. Then up here, it's really amazeballs.
Hey girls, you were right. You know, I've never been up here. I have to come with Mom, William said with great satisfaction.
See, Dad? I knew you would like it,
his daughter said with a broad smile. Well done, my little pirate! Arr! William exclaimed, picking up Chloe and placing her on his shoulders.
Thanks, Dad!
Max looked at them and couldn't be happier than that. Finally, Chloe was having a moment of peace and serenity. She deserved it after everything she's been through, and if that would help her to be happy, so be it. It was almost past the lunchtime, and so they decided to position themselves in the innermost part of the mountain and set the table under the oak where there was a nice cool shade and they could still enjoy the delicate breeze that was blowing. They ate with great taste, fantasizing about what it might be when they will grow up, so William at one point asked, Chloe, do you know that when you are older and you are one of the best at school, for your birthday I'll buy you the car? But Chloe shook her head and said, I don't want a car, Dad. I would like to go on a big trip together, our family and Max. William couldn't believe his own ears. Darling, are you sure? Is that what you want? And Chloe, looking at Max, smiled at her saying, Yes, Dad, is what I want more than anything else, and it's something we never did together. Right, Max? And winked at her. Max nodded, blushing, and Chloe hugged her, tenderly giggling. Then looking at her, she added, It's true, Dad. Max for me is But she couldn't finish the sentence that Max, out of blue, kissed her on the mouth. Oh, this is really beautiful. Well done, Max. I knew that sooner or later you would have had the courage to say it. Well, actually not totally like that,
but you gave the idea. After all, me and Joyce had a hunch of it, and we have even bet which one of you would have made the first move. Chloe, who was until now astonished and with eyes wide open, smiled sweetly at her, while Max, red as a pepper, rubbed her neck in embarrassment. Then Chloe, turning to her father, asked, "Well, so which one of you won?" "I won," William answered. "What? But Dad, how could you bet on Max?" "Well, your mother had already bet on you, and so I..." "Well, you know what? I'm glad you won," and ran to hug him. They spent a wonderful day playing and talking, and in the meantime was time for them to go, 'cause it was around 6:30. Chloe was sitting in front of the panorama, still admiring it in all its glory, as the sun began to set, still illuminating and focusing its light on the sea that now looked like a bright golden carpet. Max rummaged into the basket and took the Polaroid, taking a beautiful picture of Chloe from behind with that idyllic light. William gave her a light nudge, motioning her to go sit next to her because he wanted to take a picture of both, and Max did so. She went over to her and sat down, and instinctively Chloe put her arm around her waist, while Max put her arm on her shoulders. William framed them and took the picture. As soon as the photo was ready, he handed it over to his daughter, who was beaming with happiness. "Girls, it will be better to start going down. What do you think?" And they nodded. "It will be a pain in the back to go down now," Chloe said with a bit of regret. "Well, you can also climb down the mountainside if you want. I prefer the path, more comfortable and accessible." "Eh?" Both were astonished to hear this. "William, but then you've already been here." "No, really." "Then how do you know?" "Behind the oak. I only noticed after a while you were playing on the other side." "Oh, thank goodness, at least we save ourselves the trouble," said Chloe with great relief. After cleaning everything up and getting their things, they got off the mountain and drove back to Fry's house. When they got back, they found Joyce, who had returned from work and was already preparing for dinner. "Oh, darling, you're back." Joyce looked at her husband and said, "Yes, but I was unable to contact you. When I got home, I found the house phone disconnected and your cell phone was off." He replied with a bit of hesitation. Well, for the house phone plug, I really don't know what to say. But for the cell phone, unfortunately, while I was washing the dishes, having it in my shirt pocket, I tripped and it fell into the sink." "Oh, dear." "Okay then." "But did you have problem with something?" "No, it's just that after work I went shopping that there were a lot of things missing and I had quite a lot of bags and I wanted to ask you if you wanted to come and pick me up. Then I saw that I could not contact you and so I had to take the bus." "Fuck, I'm sorry." "That's $1 for the swear jar," said a voice coming from the living room. "You mean your cash fund for the university," replied the father. "Well, in any case, much better this way. Also because the bus had to make a detour, cause there was a very bad accident between a car and a tow truck, and I don't know why, but I was really happy that you didn't come to get me." "An accident? On Bay Street? Holy shit!" "Another $1 for the swear jar. You're bankrupting me." And everyone laughed. It was time for dinner, and Joyce had prepared one of her specialties, which was salmon seasoned with her secret recipe.
and to finish a mega chocolate dessert. While eating, William talked about the beautiful day they had spent and how he had won the bet. Joyce couldn't believe her own ears. The two girls were red like two peppers, but Joyce laughed amiably and congratulated Max for such a bold move that she honestly did not expect. After eating, the two girls went upstairs to relax and rest because it was really a long and eventful day. They both looked at each other on the bed, and at one point Chloe asked, "Tell me, when you kissed me, what did you feel?" "Well, I can't tell you. After all, it was only for a moment." Max blushed. "Really?" asked her friend with an audacious air, smiling at her mischievously. "And let me ask you, if I kiss you again?" Max turned to the other side in a very shy way, covering her face with her hands. "Oh, come on, don't do that. You embarrass me." "And yet when you kissed me, it didn't seem like you were. Or am I wrong, Maxine?" Max instinctively whirled around to say, "Max, never Maxine." But she couldn't say it because she got a treacherous kiss from Chloe, who was waiting for her. "Ah, what do we do? Now are you also setting traps for me?" "I knew you would fall for it." Max looked at her, making the fake pout that made her friends laugh even more than before. Then she threw herself on her to hug her. "You know, Chloe, being in a 13 years old body with an adult soul has its advantages. You're hella right, Max, not to mention what we know about the future events." They were silent for a few minutes. Then Max asked, "Speaking about events, did you see that in the light in which we fell, besides all the people we know, there were also others people that we don't know? I wonder who they are, also because I could notice some of them who were particularly close to each others. I've seen it too, but I don't know what to say honestly. Fuck, what a mess, Max. I wonder what else will happen to us. By the way, I wanted to ask you, what happened to you when you fainted with your nose bleeding? I swear, I've never been so scared for you." Max caressed her face and said, "Don't worry, it's okay. Now I'll explain." And so she told her what happened in those few seconds that she had fainted. Chloe listened amazed. When she finished telling, "Posebius and Hesperia, who are they?" "Believe me, I would like to know too, but from how they spoke, if I can venture an hypothesis, I think they are two ministers, or maybe guardians of time. Only that from what I told you, they seem to be at odds with each other's. Yeah, that Posebius is just an asshole. I wanted to kick his ass for making you cry. Nobody makes cry my sweet Max." The brunette smiled sweetly at her. "Chloe, you are a sweetheart. Max, I will protect you. No matter what adversity I will face, and I'm ready to give everything for you. Same goes for me, Chloe. I'm ready to fuck up the entire world just to be by your side." They both hugged each other, and bidding good night, then they fell asleep almost immediately.